Okay.
There you go.
So AI is a tool that small businesses can use to lessen the time that they're spending on repetitive tasks and make tasks that they struggle with a little bit easier. AI does not replace humans. AI is a tool, much like a calculator is a tool for doing math. Uh, Microsoft Word is a tool for typing a paper. It's something that can lessen the amount of time it takes you to do tasks. That's all it is. But we're gonna go through some because there's more than one kind of AI. And a lot of people, when they first think of AI, they think, you know, Terminator or what am I trying to say? The Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Wow. Yeah,
Terminator.
Terminator. Thank you. Why don't we call it something else? Terminator, where the robots take over the world and human our population no longer exists. That's not what AI is. So there's about five different categories of AI. The generative AI are things like ChatGPT. So that's the AI that's come out in the last 3, 4 years that everybody's talking about, that everybody is all up in arms over AI's taking over the world. In reality, AI's been around since 1955. So this this isn't new, it's just evolving, and it's evolving in such a way that it's more mainstream. So people are utilizing it more, so now they think that it just was discovered or figured out, but that's not the case. Machine learning is one of the ways that really does help small businesses. Machine learning are things like Google Analytics, where it takes a lot of data and breaks it down for you so that it's in bits that you can understand and utilize. QuickBooks also does machine learning, so you can put in a journal entry, and this specific entry is, Kroger, and that needs to be placed in expenses for the office. You can categorize things so that repetitive tasks get done quicker. It's also really good in fraud detection. So it can find things that are outside the norm and alert you to that. It can also help with demand forecasting. So it can look at your sales numbers over the course of a year, 2 years, 3 years, however long, and help you predict where your sales cycle is going to be in any given month, which helps you better prepare in um, inventory and staffing and things like that. Computer vision is interesting. Facial recognition. We all open, you guys, because of my background, you can't see my phone, but we all open our phones with our face now. That's facial recognition. Some places have it for entry into a building. Self-checkout uses this. So when you're at Kroger or Walmart and you're checking out and you move something from the basket over to where the bags are at, but it doesn't scan, it sees that and says you failed to scan this. Oh, we got somebody coming in. You failed to scan that last item. Please scan it and then put it in the checkout. And then it uses weight in the checkout bags in that area to determine whether or not you scanned the item that you put in the bag. So AI is very much a part of self-checkout. And there are medical scans that do the same thing too, that can help find issues. Your next type of AI is the natural language processing. This is going to be your Siri, your Alexa, all of the different things that you can talk to and ask a question to. Also includes AI transcription tools, chatbots, and virtual assistants. So we all we all think that these things are listening to us all the time. It's too many coincidences when you're talking about something that you don't normally talk about, and then all of a sudden you're seeing ads for it. That's the I think that's the real problem with this more connected way of life, is that it's possible somebody's always listening, always watching, always recording you. That part's a little scary. But the part where it can help save you time and energy when you're putting your entries into QuickBooks, or when you're creating a marketing plan, or when you're answering using a chatbot to answer questions of your customers that you've answered 7,000 times already. That's where it's helpful. The robotic process automation would be things like Calendly. Um, Gmail recently put tabs on your Gmail account. So you've got your inbox, and you got promotions, and then you've got, I don't know, two other ones. It auto categorizes those based on the content of the email, and then also input from you on saying, this needs to be in my inbox. I need to be able to see this. And it also does the same thing with junk files. So it automatically assumes certain things are junk based on the wording, but you can manually go in there and override it so that in the future, that particular email always comes to your inbox or to your promotions or wherever you want it to go. So those types of things can help, because I'm not to say that my Google email isn't very disorganized and way too full, but it looks better than my work email because everything is separated. So I can get to the really important things in my Gmail quicker than I can in my Outlook. So it has its places. Automated invoice processing is another way that you can use the robot process automation. There's so many different facets. To say that everything is AI is confusing, because there's a lot of different types of AI and different use cases for that. Another place that you see it a lot is going to be your Netflix and your For You page on TikTok. Anybody uses TikTok? Um, right? You can lose hours on TikTok. If you look, like, for example, my For You page on TikTok looks very, very different from my husband's For You page. So I love videos of dogs. I love videos of building things, sometimes cooking. My husband, for some reason, likes the videos that over-the-road truckers make, which is really bizarre if you know him. It doesn't fit him at all. He does a lot more with political stuff. His For You page is completely different than mine. Even though we're sitting in the same room next to each other watching TikTok, he's got a whole different slew of videos than I've got. That's because TikTok is able to watch what you're engaging in. What are you scrolling past really quickly? What are you sitting there watching one time through? What are you watching two or three or four times through? What are you sending to other people? Those clues help them understand what types of videos you're going to really like and interact with. Same thing for Netflix. You know, we have multiple logins for Netflix or sub accounts, because what my kids want to watch, what I want to watch, and what my husband want to watch, they're not the same. So by having those sub accounts, everybody gets suggested things that are A, appropriate for them, B, enjoyable to them. Anybody ever see this? I'm gonna date myself a lot here. Rachel, you're gonna laugh because you're not gonna know what I'm talking about here. A movie that came out in 1983 called War Games. Matthew Broderick was in it, and that was Ferris Bueller from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, for the young people who don't know who that is. But Matthew Broderick was a high school student in this movie, and he hacked into the government webs or the government computers and started a military war game with the Soviet Union. It was called Thermonuclear War in the movie. This was kind of the first movie that I remember talking about computers overtaking things. So the computer thought that that Russia was attacking us, and we had to attack back. In reality, Russia was not attacking us, but the computer thought that. So the computer was going to launch these nuclear warheads at Russia, which would have started World War III. That was kind of the first glimpse into what it could look like if things go wrong with computers. And I mean, it was very plausible back in 83. I was pretty young then, but it was a good movie. It's good to watch. It gives you a perspective of what we thought of computers then and kind of what we think of them now. So generative AI, which is the one we're seeing so often right now, is all it is a copycat. All it does is take information that it can find in other places and spit it out. Do you know where 60% of the information from ChatGPT comes from? You're going to stop using it when I tell you. It comes from Reddit. Yeah, Reddit. You ever been on Reddit? There's some good information on Reddit. There's a lot of not good information on Reddit. So Reddit is just other people's opinions. I wanted other people's opinions, I'd ask them. But that's all generative AI is it takes information that it can find somewhere, whether it's a website or Reddit or another social media or wherever, and it compiles it into an answer for you. It mimics, it replicates, it rewrites, and it summarizes. When it writes, it's very flat. So the grammar's right, the spelling's right, the punctuation's right. But there's usually very little emotion in what it's writing. It has limitations. There's no innovation within AI. AI cannot think. It cannot process information the way we can. It does not have a deep understanding of any one thing. It has a little tiny top level understanding of just about everything. There's nothing original about it, and that it lacks that emotion. So we're working on college essays right now for the Common App, and my son is, and he sent me his first draft, and I read it, and I looked at him and I said, "Hey, you didn't write this." Because the punctuation was right and there were paragraphs. I was like, I know for a fact you didn't write this. So there's this thing called GPT-0, which is an AI detection tool that you can utilize. So you can take text and you can put it through GPT-0 and it tells you what the probability is of it being AI generated. Or if it was a human thought to begin with that was polished with AI, it can help you evaluate how your paragraphs are sounding, how whatever you're doing is sounding. And sure enough, his was an original thought that was polished by AI, which is still not allowed in college essays, by the way. So he's in the process of rewriting that with his own words. But it it has its place. I use AI a lot if I am trying to especially in grants. It's very helpful to to put all of your thoughts in one place and then ask it for an outline. How do I need to structure this information in this application to answer this question or to write a report on something? It's really, really good at coming up with structure that makes sense, and then you can use your words to fill in those gaps. I do use it to polish. So I will write something and I will put it into AI and say, how can I improve this? But I give it specific instructions. I want this to be written at an eighth grade level for in a professional manner. Or I'll say that I want this to be funny and cheeky and joking. You know, I give it the parameters of how I want the message to look. if I'm trying to come up with a social media caption for a post, sometimes I want it to be fun, lighthearted, and engaging. Other times I need it to be serious. You know, Rachel, I could see Jessica using this in the funeral home because you don't you don't want to come off over bubbly and excited and chipper if you're having conversations about somebody passing. That's not the right tone. So using those tones within what you're doing in ChatGPT is super, super helpful. So really, this is just another tool that small businesses utilize to save them time. Um, I've never ever once met a small business owner in my 10 plus years doing this that has way too much time on their hands and is just bored to death. So it's always the opposite. We never have enough time. That's our most limited resource. And if we can find tools that can help streamline some of the things that we're doing, that's the goal. We can also use it to improve customer service and decision making. So by adding things like that FAQ to a website, to different profiles that you have, it allows the customers to get the answer that they want really quickly. And actually, AI is really good at coming up with FAQ questions for your website. And I'll show you an example of that towards the end of this presentation. It can, it's pretty good at stuff like that. So let it help you. It can also provide you with a competitive advantage. If you're using a chatbot and you have uploaded all of your information into it, as far as what your FAQ is, and because you know the questions your customers are asking you, if you upload that information and how you want it to be answered, that chatbot can then get your customers the answers that they need immediately, which is what they really want. Customers don't want to wait around. We're used to that instantaneous answers, and I don't know that we're ever going to get away from that again. There are a lot of capabilities and use cases for AI in your businesses. Content creation and scheduling is number one in my opinion of how it can help you. And we'll go through some examples in ChatGPT, and we may look at Gemini as well of how you can use this to create a content calendar with specifics, and then you can put your measurables in there, your KPIs, key performance indicators, and then you can come back and you can add that data of how each post did so that you can use that information to make better posts next time, have better reach and better reaction to what you're putting out there. Chatbots for 24/7 support. Most small businesses can't afford to have somebody sitting by the phone 24/7 to answer their customers' questions. The chatbot helps solve that problem for you. It's also super useful in that trend prediction and decision making. As long as you are putting good data into it, it is very good at it's really quite accurate. And it's great at finding those trends and helping you decide, well, do I need to order X for inventory this month, or will Y work? It allows you to make better decisions for your business in a more timely manner. Now, I will tell you that on occasion, if you ask ChatGPT to do simple addition, it will mess it up. Everything with AI has to be verified still. You can't just blindly trust it. It is biased. It will pick up on, like I said, it gets 60% of its information from Reddit. There's a lot of bias in Reddit. So you have to verify before you use it. There are organizations that have gotten in trouble because they were allowing AI to answer questions that it was not prepared to answer and didn't do a great job. And people don't love that. So um don't follow it blindly. Use it as a tool. Double check it though. There are a lot of concerns with AI, I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of concerns. Last year alone, there were thousands and thousands and thousands of data breaches. We are constantly getting updates for our computer and for our programs to keep them safe. The problem with AI is that the speed at which it's moving is far outpacing the speed at which cybersecurity things are moving. So there's definitely data concerns, privacy concerns, security concerns with AI. And because of that, your organization, depending on the size, may have instituted some kind of policy on how much or how little they want you using AI and what information you're allowed to put in there. I would never in a million years put any personal identifiable information in there. So names, addresses, phone numbers, social security numbers, bank account numbers, none of that. If you're going to use customer data, put it in an Excel spreadsheet or a Google sheet and take out the names. Remove data that is not necessary for trend prediction. And that will allow you to keep your customers' data safe and still get the analytical information that's helpful from AI. Sometimes it doesn't integrate well with existing systems, depending on what you're trying to do. There can be a high cost depending on what you're looking at. Then there's the whole we have to learn a new thing. Again, staff doesn't always love that. And then quality. What you get out of AI is never going to be better than what you put in. So if you're putting in bad data, you're going to get bad results. Keep that in mind. The security issue does concern me on what it's retaining, what it's using, how it's using that in other places after you put the data into AI. There's some concern there. We're figuring out as we go, just like everything, but be very, very careful what information you are sharing with the different AI tools that are out there. There are free tools, there are paid tools. Really, the key is to evaluate your return on investment. I'm going to give you guys a worksheet to help you figure out your KPIs and your return on investment for these different AI tools that you could utilize. Use reputable ones. There are tools out there that are not. There was an individual that worked at Disney a few years back who decided to download an AI tool to help him with something in his job. And it turns out he really downloaded a virus that had an AI tool on top of it to disguise it. And there was a data breach at Disney. He lost his job. It was bad. So be very careful what you're downloading. Be very careful who produced it, where it was produced. Just like with any other download on the internet, be wary. Make sure that you are compliant with whatever your organization requires. Data protection laws are real, and you need to not be putting personal identifiable information out there. AI is very biased, and if you put there are people that use AI as kind of a quasi therapist, and if you put a conversation in AI and ask it who is right, it will most of the time tell you you are right. Because that's what you want to hear, and that's what it's going to tell you. Be cautious of the information that is coming out of AI. It is great as a sounding board to think through an idea. You can put information in there. I'm thinking about doing XYZ. What are some things that you think that I should think about before I do that? And it'll come back with a list. And then you can drill down farther into that list. So it can help you process ideas. It can help you put things in a logical order. It can help summarize things. If I've got something that I've got to read that it's pretty lengthy, I'll put it into AI and ask it for the 5 key points. If the 5 key points are interesting to me, then I can go back in and actually read the document. But it allows me, it saves me time not having to skim a 20-page document to find out if it's got something in it that I might need. Uh, Always validate the content. We've been over that already, but make sure that you are validating the content that is coming out of AI because it's not always good. I love spreadsheets. I love data. So KPIs are kind of something that I really like. Not all business owners do, though. It's strange, but KPIs are your key performance indicators. So these are the things that allow you to understand whether or not the investment in the AI software is worth it, or any software, or any process, or anything in your business. I've spent, $2,000 on marketing this year, but it's given me a return on investment of $40,000. Well, that's a good investment. Key performance indicators are how you realize whether those things happened or you're not just guessing. Performance analytics, measuring AI performance involves gathering data and analyzing data to assess its impact, effectiveness, and ROI. How much time is it saving you? Time's money. So if your AI tool is saving you 4 hours a week, that's valuable. That's 4 hours a week that you can spend on something else in your business. And then data evaluation, make sure the data quality and accuracy is there. Make sure that what you're looking at is actually relevant to your business. It helps you make informed decisions. So here are some KPIs for different parts of a business. Marketing and sales, obviously, website traffic, conversion rate, customer engagement are going to be key. You can get these from Google Analytics. You can get this from your social media or anywhere else that you're selling product. Operation and productivity would be time that you're saving on tasks. Is there a reduction in the number of errors that you're seeing? Are you completing tasks at a faster rate than you were prior to using the AI tool? Customer service can be response time, resolution time, and then customer satisfaction scores if you're keeping track of those. If you're not keeping track of those prior to using a customer service chat bot, it's going to be tough to measure. Finance and accounting is big because invoice processing time can come down, cash flow accuracy can increase, and it can reduce human error. It can cause problems too, though. So if you're using QuickBooks and you've got it set up to where it's automatically sending an invoice to a customer, sends out the first invoice, the customer pays that invoice and mails you a check, but you fail to input that information into QuickBooks. QuickBooks doesn't know that you got the check. So it's set to every 7 days, send out another invoice if the invoice has not been paid. So the customer is going to get another invoice, even though they've already paid their first one. They'll probably overlook that one, thinking it crossed in the mail. The second one, they're going to get the invoice and be like, I've already paid this. What the heck? Now they're getting frustrated because you didn't do your job putting the information into QuickBooks, which tells it to stop sending those automated invoices. Just be aware that the output is only going to be as good as the information you put into it. HR and hiring, time to hire can go down, employee retention could go up, training completion rates could go up. For the size of businesses that we typically work with, I don't know that HR and hiring is going to be quite as affected by AI as you would in a large corporation. It does help with job descriptions. It does help in coming up with the responsibilities of the job and putting that in a manner which that is easy to read, easy to understand. It helps in that regard. However, As far as employee retention, we're probably not going to be using it in such a way that has as big of an impact as the culture, as the way you run the business. So just keep that in mind. All right, so there's a QR code on your screen. I will also put, let's see here. Let me put the link in the chat so that you guys can save that as well. But this goes to a Canva document. Maybe that'll work. I'm going to put it in there. Rachel, will you test it and see if that works? Because that looks way too short. So this takes you to, I'll just show you where it takes you.
Yep, it's there.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right, so this is going to take you to an AI handout that we do. This is a live document. So as I teach more classes, as I talk to more people, as things change in the AI world, I change this document. So if you really like it the way it is, download it, save it on your computer, because next time you come back to it, I may have added tools, I may have taken away tools. Everything is changing so quickly that we're trying to keep up, but new tools are coming online every day. Some tools are getting merged with other tools or just going away completely. So just if you like it the way it is, download it. If you like to see the updated version, just keep coming back to it. But we've got a number of different tools on here that you can utilize. ChatGPT is the most popular right now. I suspect that'll change. There is a free version, there is a paid version. If you use the free version extensively, it will tell you that you're using it too much and you should pay for it. I've had that happen, and then you have to wait till tomorrow to do more. Or you have to make multiple accounts. That's an option too. But ChatGPT, even with the paid or the free version, if you sign in, you've got your history there, which is very, very helpful to me because I can ask it to utilize all of the information that we've talked about in the past to create something. Canva AI is getting there. The graphic design side of things, it does have some good templates. It does have some decent designing tools that are AI driven. Outside of the AI portion, I absolutely love Canva. The AI is getting there. Jasper.ai is really more for writing ads, blog posts, emails, things like that. It's a good tool for that, but it is a paid tool. So you can do those things with ChatGPT and Gemini, free or paid. DALL-E is interesting because it's image generation. If you want a picture of a dolphin riding a bike with a birthday hat on, it can create it. That's the other thing. When you're seeing images, especially now, be skeptical on whether or not they're real. AI image generation has come a long way in the last couple of years and has gotten really good. Used to, like people would have like three toes or their arm would be like twisted the wrong way. It would just awkward, not quite right. It's gotten really good. And there are times it's really hard to distinguish the difference. If you guys all seen the videos of the animals jumping off of the diving board, like an elephant on a diving board diving into the water, it's pretty good outside of, it's crazy. But like the image and just the video itself is pretty solid. Be skeptical. Um, Copilot is Microsoft. It's built into Microsoft apps, and it's definitely gaining momentum. Gemini, I really like Gemini. It's Google's AI version. I use it quite a bit. Google Business has an AI audit, so it can go in and look at all the information it can find from your business and give you some local SEO tips. I like TinyWow. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of TinyWow. It's an interesting AI platform because it has tools. So if you have a PDF that you need to edit, but you don't have the full Adobe suite, you can go to TinyWow, upload your PDF, and it will allow you to edit it. Again, be careful that you don't have sensitive information inside of that PDF that you are uploading to TinyWow. It has some great tools in there for pulling audio off of videos. If you need to make SRT files for closed captioning, it can help you with that. It's got a lot of image background remover. It's got a lot of great tools within it. So check it out. It is free. Um, OpenArt.ai is another one that will generate images and art. Um, the next page is a resource list. So there's some different places where you can take classes on learning more about AI. YouTube's not a bad one either. Um, then we got some ideas for AI learning communities for small business. The next couple of pages are what will help you the most, and that's the prompt writing. So the information that you get out of any AI system is only going to be as good as the prompt that you're putting into it. You got to be specific and clear. Context makes a huge difference. Set constraints. Tell it how long you want the piece to be. What style do you want it to write in? Things like that. Use examples or keywords, and then refine it. So it's going to come back with the first draft, and then you say, that's good, but I want you to do X, Y, and Z. And then it will change it. So it's not a one and done thing. It's back and forth. And combine tools. Use multiple tools together depending on what you're needing. So some advanced tips, your marketing strategy, create that month-long social media content calendar and utilize it. So you can, and I'll show you guys here in a second, we'll go through some of this stuff. You can also do a competitor analysis with AI. You can say, analyze the strengths and weaknesses of these three competitors and list those three competitors out. Suggest ways that I can differentiate our offerings, compare their website designs, loading speed, mobile responsiveness, and customer experience to identify gaps and opportunities within the market. That's pretty powerful, being able to have it kind of do your snooping for you. Some your prompt guide, you've got some examples here, and then here's your KPI worksheet. So you can put your automated tasks, and I just put 3 in as an example. Writing blog posts, customer support emails, data entry reports. And then you can put time spent before AI, time spent with AI. Don't say the time spent the first time you use AI. There's a learning curve. So give it a couple of weeks and then see how long it's taking you. Allow yourself to learn. How many hours is it saving you a week? So here's an example. I did this just before class started, just because sometimes these sites go down and I didn't want to have it go down while I was trying to show you guys. But I typed in based on everything you know about Sked, and I've got a lot of chats in here. And what we do, can you help me develop an FAQ page for our website? So it says, got it. Here are the things that we know. And it comes up with questions. What is Sked? We get that a lot. So that's a good question. What area does Sked serve? It didn't hit this one right on the head. So we serve businesses and communities across Southeast Kentucky, but there's 45 counties specifically that we serve that could have been listed there. So there's a little room for fixing there. How can Sked help me start or grow my business? Pretty good answer. What types of training do we offer? Pretty solid. Do we provide funding? Talks about the childcare initiative that we have, partnerships and communities that we work with. How do you get started? How do you contact us? And then we can also ask it to make it website ready. So it's shorter, more conversational answers, or keep it informational, formal format. So that's a pretty good tool. That's a good start for our FAQ. Something else I did this in Gemini just to kind of show you a different version. So, well, we'll go start the next one. There we go. Can you create a 6-week marketing plan for Little Blessings Childcare in Williamsburg, Kentucky? This is a brand new center that opened Monday. We are trying to grow the enrollment. That is all the information I gave it. And it came up with a marketing plan. And it says week 1, foundation and buzz generation, launch social media, update your Google business profile, local announcements, initial outreach. Week 2, first impressions, local immersion, grand opening, encourage Google reviews, network and businesses. And then content and storytelling, referral program and promotions, paid advertising, continued outreach starting week 5, and then evaluation and future planning for week 6. So this is a pretty solid 6-week marketing plan for a brand new business that just opened. Now, ideally, I would have liked to have started this a few weeks before they actually opened, but in this scenario, it worked. So my next response was, I love this. Can you create a social media calendar for the same business? I want to post 3 times a week on Facebook. Please suggest posts and images to accompany them. So I'm asking for something pretty specific here. And what it tells me is week 1. On Tuesday, we should do a grand opening announcement. And it gives me the actual verbiage that it suggests with emojis. And then it says a high quality photo in front of the center with a now open banner and balloons. Now, does the image have to look like that? Nope, doesn't. But it gives me an idea of what it could look like. You can tweak any of these captions. It keeps you from staring at your computer blankly, trying to figure out what to say. It gives you that starting point. Virtual tour on the Thursday, and then Saturday, it suggests you do Why Choose Us. And then it switches Monday, Wednesday, Saturday instead of Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Open house reminder, testimonial, open house thank you, post open house. Then we do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. In week 3, meet a teacher, talk about the curriculum, fun Friday post. Doesn't have to be anything to do with work, kids, childcare. Can be anything. You could even do cute puppies here for this fun Friday post. Week 4, Monday, Wednesday, Friday again. Referral program announcement, saying that you're going to give a discount in tuition for referrals. Parent testimonial, enrollment promotion. And then it moves into week 5 with paid ads and community engagement, just as the marketing plan above recommended. So these work in connection with each other, which helps. And then long-term planning and follow-up. This gives you a starting point to save you time. I know that when I sit down to write a grant application, I am not a good writer, and I struggle with where to start, how to organize it, how to make it make sense to somebody whose brain works differently than mine. ChatGPT, Gemini are tools that really, really help me create that outline, create that structure, and then polish my writing so that it's easy to understand, it makes sense, and it sounds like I might have a college education. Those things help. Does anybody have any questions? Rachel, do you have any questions?
No, I was going to say how easy it is to kind of get caught up in the positivity with
Yeah,
AI, especially Chat GPT. I was reading an article somewhere and it was like it gives you a false positive or something
it
like that.
does. It does. If you put it in there, especially if you're asking like for opinions on situations, or it does not read emotion well.
Right.
And you need to not depend on it for your emotional well-being. There are people that are using it in place of a therapist,
Mhm.
and that idea really scares me.
Yeah. I'll ask it questions like why does such and such do this or how does this work or whatever.
Mhm.
But I don't think it should be replacing therapy
No,
by any means.
no, I don't think so either. I don't think so either. If you're using it to put things in a certain context, to organize things, to evaluate data, it's very, very useful. And it definitely has a place there. I it does not have the emotional intelligence to be able to act as that therapist. It can help you think through an idea.
Mhm.
There's a big difference between thinking through an idea and trying to process trauma. So use it for what it's good at.
Right.
Anybody else
And
have any
we
questions or sorry?
Now, another thing we do is prompt it. So, like, usually when I'll put something in, I'll say, I am a small business development center
Yep.
coach. I want this to sound professional, or I want this to sound lighthearted, or, you know, country, put a twang in it, whatever it may be. But giving those directions help with getting, I guess, a more genuine output.
100%. And really, that prompt guide will walk you through that. Clearly define your end goal, tailor your response, mimic style, structure, tone. I mean, you can tell it in to write in any character's voice. You could say, write this like Rocky Balboa from Rock. It will do it in that Italian, New York Italian accent. So
Mhm.
it it can do that, but you have to tell it to.
Right.
You can tell it to write like a politician, write like a certain politician. It and it will do it. You can use it to make birthday cards.
Yeah.
Write me a snarky birthday card for my brother who's turning 40, and it will
Hmm.
do it. Just use it for what it's good for. Don't over you can you can over rely on AI, and you
Yeah,
can
for sure.
lose your ability to write well.
Hmm.
And I mean, does it have the potential to make you think less? It does. So be weary of that. Any other thoughts, ideas, snide remarks? There's something in the chat. Okay.
So very
Do-
interesting and helpful. I like your balanced approach. I would love to have this replay for my high schooler. Definitely. We can share that with
Absolutely.
you, Suzanne. Sure.
Yeah, I've had a lot of talks with my high schooler too, Suzanne, about utilizing AI and where it's appropriate and where it's not.
Yeah, definitely. So we want to thank Amanda again for being with us here today. We This is the first of a four-part series for Be a Boss Online, and I will make sure to post our other upcoming events. We think we may keep these online. We're not sure yet, so just watch our Facebook page. But you can register for these. They'll be in the next weeks coming up. So. Again, Amanda, thanks for coming in and telling us about AI. And if you guys don't have any more questions, we will stop there. and we
Amen.
look forward to seeing you at our next training.
Thank you guys. It was great being here. Take care.
Thanks.
Thank you.